Getting this wrong will undoubtedly result in you getting no sales. Why? Because in the e-commerce space, there is a huge disconnect between your customer and your product. If you think about it like this, if you go to a shop in the real world, you can see the product, you can feel the product, and sometimes you can even try the product. In the online space, everything is digital, and we base our buying decision on what the product looks like in the photo. I really don't understand it when people spend hours upon hours on the design, but package it up terribly when it comes to the mock-up. It's actually very similar to YouTube. You can spend days, maybe weeks, on the actual content of the video, but if you have a terrible thumbnail and you have a terrible title, no one is going to click and watch your video. So let me show you how you can create winning mockups and then replicate it hundreds and hundreds of times in a matter of minutes. And no, this video is not being sponsored by anyone. It's not promoting some new mockup AI or some new mockup tool. This is literally what I do for my business that has brought in thousands and thousands of sales. And, well, after examining the top selling products, I can see that this is what they are doing as well. Now, before I show you this incredible way of making mockups, if you've liked this video or any of the other videos that I've ever made, please take a second and hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. Let's get straight into it. Firstly, mockups on Etsy will be slightly different to mockups on Shopify. Now, you could 100% use these mockups on both platforms, but with Etsy, you also want to include extras like, an image going over the colors and an image showing the various sizes. And you want to just spice it up a little bit. With Shopify, you don't have to try so hard. So let's start with step one of building our mockup. We need to create a template that can be replicated very quickly hundreds of times. The first thing we need to do is actually get our basic t-shirt mockup. And there's a specific reason why we are using a flat lay mockup. And we are going to just go to Etsy and we're going to search. So let's say you're selling the Gildan 64,000, which is what I'm selling. So that is why I feel comfortable talking to you about it. I literally went over to here, $6.59, and bought this guy. Very, very easy, very simple. It looks good, okay? It's just all we need. Now, there's a very strong reason why I suggest going for flat lay over going for a model, and I'm going to explain that and also illustrate that very soon. And it will blow your mind because so many people think going for that person is going to make it look so much better and make it more realistic and all of these things, but it's actually not the case. So once we buy this, we'll be able to get all the different colors. And if you have a look, they have everything, from the heather colors to the normal colors. This isn't my product, by the way. I have no affiliation with this product. It's just the one that I bought, and that's why I'm sharing it. Okay, once we've bought those products, we need to go into Canva and we need to click Instagram post square, 1080 by 1080, or you can just, create design and then do a custom size of whatever it is, but pick a square. So, we could just do like 1500 by 1500 or something. Let's just do 1500 by 1500. Pixels, it's fine. Yep, this is in pixels. Right, click create new design. Now we're going to have an empty white box. There's a couple of things that we need to do. So assuming that you've bought those Etsy flat lay template mockup thing, then we're going to add them to our Canva. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here into projects. We're then going to go into folders, and you can see I've already done it. But what you would do is you'd click create folder. You type in Gildan 64,000 mockups, spelt right, not mock cups, mockups. Click continue, right? I'm not going to because I've got it already. And then what you'll do is you'll add the items. So you can see I've got these 6 mockups. And the reason why I've only got these 6 and not all of them, because there's a lot, and that's because I only sell these 6 colors. I have found that these 6 colors work amazingly. I don't want to add more colors because it adds confusion and hesitation to a potential customer. I don't want to give them that many options. So typically I'll have black, military green, a light pink, royal, and ice gray. Very rarely do I sell white. I just don't think it looks that good with print on demand, but occasionally I do have white, which is why it's here. So these are the mockups. The next folder that you want to have, we go back to folders, is your designs. So design examples. I've got a whole bunch of examples here that I'm going to be able to use in this video. And then lastly, your last folder is accessories. Now, accessories are the things that are going to go on the mockup. Like you see on Etsy, if we just put in like, I don't know, let's put in funny dog t-shirt, just to give you an example. There, you see it's got some shoes, some jeans. Here it's got like a little flower. Here it's got some leaves and stuff. Here it's got jeans and shoes, and this is a terrible mock-up, but it's just, I'll explain why in a minute, but it's very small. But it's the accessories that people like putting on their mock-ups. These kind of mock-ups, I don't think they work, and that is because I literally cannot see what the design says. The design is so small, they've got all this wasted real estate space. I have to literally zoom in and be like, crazy dog lady. Okay, I can see it now. And it's just a shame. It's such a waste of space. This is the one thing that a potential buyer sees before buying your product. Remember, they can't feel it, they can't touch it, they can't try it on. All they have is this mock-up to help them with their buying decision. You need to make sure that you show them the product in all its glory so that it's very noticeable what the design is and everything. So let's go back. Well, actually, before I go back, with this one, you see how it's tied up at the bottom, the sleeves are rolled up. Lots of people don't want to wear t-shirts like that, and I know you would never wear a t-shirt like tied up at the bottom unless it's like a crop top kind of thing for a girl, or a guy for that matter, it doesn't matter. But you're not appealing to enough people with this kind of mock-up. So let's go back now, and we're going to start with step one. So, well, not really step one. Step one was creating the canvas, so 1500 by 1500 pixels or whatever, just make it a square. Then we need to add a background. So we can go to backgrounds and we can add the classic wood, or we can go for like a darker color wood. Make sure what you're adding contrast the image a little bit. So don't add like this dark black one. And then on top of that, let me go in and show you. Don't then add the black t-shirt, because can you see it kind of disappears into the background? And you don't want that to happen. You want to stand out. So let's delete that. Let's go back to backgrounds. So what you want to think about is, I want to try and create a background that is on brand, so like within my brand, but within my niche as well. So, if I'm in the music niche and I'm creating music t-shirts, this could be quite a cool background, That's quite cool. I like that. Now, what I might want to do is lower the opacity just a little bit because it's a bit distracting. So it's like that. That becomes quite cool. Let's say I'm in the teacher niche. That's quite a cool one as well. That the math paper. Again, I might lower the opacity just so it's not so distracting, because remember, it's just a background. But for now, I'm going to keep it really simple and go for the classic wood style. Again, pick the background that works for you. Nothing too distracting. The next thing we want to do is we want to add our t-shirt. So if we go down to our folder, so I've got my folders over here on the left-hand side. So I've added the folder of the t-shirts. Let's start with black. Okay. What I see a lot of people doing, and what we just saw here, is look how small this is, Look how small this is. Look how small this is. Look how small. So first thing we want to do is we want to make this as big as possible. What I like to do is, a good rule of thumb is, I like the top to be touching, and then this one's slightly not touching. It's because it's an angle. So I make that touch, and then I want to make each sleeve touch as well. Just like that. Now you'll probably say, well, it's cut off at the bottom. That's terrible. No, it's actually not terrible. It's fine for it to be cut off at the bottom because, well, I'm going to change this for a lighter color just so you can see. Can you see this curvature over here of the wrinkled up t-shirt? The design will never go down there. So think of this as like, this is a frame of the whole design. Okay, so we have our t-shirt here, and I'll show you how I quickly change that soon, because that's how we're going to be able to make 500 plus mockups in literally 5 minutes. So we've got our t-shirt. It's at the perfect size. The next thing we need to do is add our design. Now, bear in mind, the most important element, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter what step you do it, whether it's designs next or accessories next, either way. If we just talk about the importance, the most important thing is the design. How clear is it? Is it placed right? The next most important thing is the t-shirt. Is it big enough? Is it obvious enough? Is the color nice and clear? And then we have the accessories pushed all the way to the side, and then we'll have the background. Obviously not in that order of placing the objects on the actual thing, but that's the order of importance. So if we now go to designs and we add, let's add this. So you can see this is huge, way too big, right? So what we want to make sure we do is we want to make sure that we place this absolutely perfectly. Not necessarily, yes, necessarily, exactly how you've put it on Printify. When you add your product, let's say you're using Printify, again, that's who we use. We do it through Swift POD. So let's say you add your product onto Printify, onto the template. However you add it there is how you want to add it here. If you add it really low down, you need to make sure the mockup shows that. Now, of course, you would never do that. You want to make sure that it's perfect. So you want a nice gap between the design and the collar. You don't want it to be up there. You also want a nice gap down each side. You don't want it to be too close. So for example, if it's like this big, in my opinion, that is too big because it's very close to the sides. It's very close to the top. So I would make this a little bit smaller. Small enough where it looks natural, it looks good, but it's still very clear to read. Look how clear that is. You can never have too many bicycles. Really, really clear. It jumps out the page, quite literally, it jumps out the page at you. So once we've done that, we then need to add our accessories. Now, with the accessories, you want to make sure that they are top-down accessories. Think of it like this. This is a flat lay t-shirt. So this helmet, for example, is a flat lay helmet. It's taken from an above angle, bird's eye view, straight down, okay? If we compare that to, let's just add an element of a helmet. Let's say we add this helmet, okay? And let's say we put this helmet down the side. Look how silly that looks, right? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't fit because one is at an angle where you're looking directly at it, and one's at a bird's eye view angle, and it just ends up looking silly. So you want to make sure that you always go for flat lay. Now, there are a few places that you can find flat lay images. One is Canva. So if I put in flat lay helmet, I might find a couple. So, okay, so here's one. Right now, so the first thing I would do is remove the background. Now, of course, this is a pro feature of Canva. Again, I'm not trying to promote Canva here, but I'm saying if you do want to remove the background within Canva, you will have to be paying for it. Right, now, so what we've done is we've removed the background, but we've still got some other objects that we don't want. So I could kind of crop out those objects, but then I can never really get rid of it fully. Like, there's still going to be something there. On top of that, I don't like the color of this helmet. And it's just, no, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this helmet. And if I keep looking, there isn't really anything else. So the next thing I would do is maybe go to Google and search flat lay helmet. Maybe something comes up. Maybe this one. Don't really like that color as well. Not very many, right? So what I did is I went into Midjourney, which is an AI tool, and I created my own flat lay accessories. And let me show you. Now, you can search Google, Canva, Kittle, many other stock websites. You will eventually find flat lay. The reason why I used AI is because it was just so quick and so easy. So, for example, this is my Midjourney. Now, I have many videos which I can link down below on how to use Midjourney. This wasn't going to be a Midjourney tutorial, but this is Midjourney /imagine, and then my prompt would be something like a flat lay photorealistic, it's got to be photorealistic of course, of a bicycle helmet on a plain, spell that right, plain white background. And the reason why I want a plain white background is so I can quickly remove the background. Let me search and see what it does. Enter. Okay, let's have a look at what it's come up with. So we've got this one, this one, this one. All three of this wouldn't work, but these three would very much work. That's a great helmet. That's a cool helmet. Easy to remove the background as well. This is a good helmet, but it's black. I'd rather go for a color that pops just a little bit. So that is exactly what I'll do. And then when it comes to, let's say, you're in the niche of dogs and you want some dog biscuits, I would just search a flat lay photorealistic of some dog biscuits on plain white background. Bam, easy, right? Once you've got those, so if I go back to my accessories, you can see I've done it for helmet, I've done it for cleat or shoes, and I've done it for a water bottle. Well, the water bottle I actually just took, I think, from Canva or Google. So once I click the helmet, I then need to remove the background. So if I click background, remover, there you go, bam, removes that background, and now I can do whatever I want with it. So let's rotate it a little bit. Let's put it deep in this corner. Again, this is just an accessory. It's the least important thing of this mock-up. So please don't put it like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. You want it to be out the way, just adding a little bit of flair to your overall picture. So we've got that mock-up there. Now let's add the shoes. This was just another AI image because surprisingly, I found it so difficult to find cycling cleats that were like flat lay. So next thing we need to do is kind of make it more realistic in terms of size. So let's just say, yeah, that's good. And then let's put it way into the corner. Maybe I can make it a little bit bigger. Again, way into the corner. Don't start putting it here or here. Even if that looks cool, that's not what we're trying to sell. We're not selling shoes here. We're trying to frame the design to draw people's eyes, bam, tunnel vision into this design so that they buy it. And then the last thing is the water bottle. So water bottle, it's already a PNG file with a transparent background. Let's just put the water bottle there. Nice, awesome. Some people would say you want to have the helmet down here, and then rotate it, and that's because sometimes the shop now or the call to action that you have is generally in the bottom right corner. For now, I actually like having it up here. I think it looks better. Bam. That is our template. Now, that template, yeah, that took us a couple of minutes to make. But now, this is where the magic happens, I should say. We have our template fully done. What we need to do is duplicate this, right? So now we've duplicated it. And now what we need to do is so we're selling this on, what is it? Let's say we're selling this on 6 colors, right? So we need to make this 6 times. So all I'll do is I'll duplicate it, and then I'll drag this over. And can you see how it snaps to the various things? So I want it to snap to the t-shirt. Bam, snaps to the t-shirt, exactly the same location. Again, I can snap it to the t-shirt over here and duplicate it again. Snap it to the t-shirt, duplicate it again, snap it to the t-shirt, and then last time, snap it to the t-shirt. I've now just created 6 mock-ups in literally, except for the first template building, I've created the remaining mockups in less than 15 seconds. It's amazing. And now the next thing you want to do is, because you want to try and keep consistency within your shop, let's say you go and duplicate this one more time. You start with the green one again because you started with the green one that time. And now what we need to do is change the design. So if I go to the designs, all I need to do is, drag a design and replace it with that. I don't want to replace it with the water bottle, and I can do that with any of the designs. So let's just say I pick, this one. Bam. Perfect. And generally, the sizing is absolutely perfect. Sometimes, occasionally, you might need to make it a little bit bigger and change where it is. But like 9 times out of 10, it's usually fine. You put it in, it's usually fine. You put it in, usually fine. It just snaps to it. So something like this, you'd be like, okay, nope, I need to move this up a little bit. There you go. And occasionally you need to move the design just a little bit. So again, now I can just duplicate, go back to the colors, change the colors. Duplicate, go back to the colors, change the colors. And this is such a quick and easy thing to do. The only hard element here, or I should say none of this is hard, the only time-consuming element here is building that initial mock-up. And once you've done that, you can just click share, download, and then download as PNG. I like downloading as a JPEG, quality at 100, and then click download. Bam. There you go. All your mockups are done. Now, a couple of things to consider here. The reason why we've put the accessories far out the way is because we don't want them to be the main focal point. We want them to frame the design. The reason why we've put the t-shirt as big as possible without it being cut off too much is because we want to grab their attention. We want them to see this is a t-shirt, and the bigger the t-shirt is, it means the bigger the design can be. So for example, if the t-shirt was this big, the design has to be this big. And you could start to see, all right, it's now really hard to see the design. If I'm scrolling through, either Facebook ads, I'm not going to spot this. Or if I'm scrolling through Etsy and I'm looking at hundreds of designs, I'm not going to spot this. But but you can be sure I'm going to spot that. And that is why it is so important to kind of really spend a good amount of time building the perfect mock-up that will genuinely help you get sales. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, this mock-up tutorial is just one small video from a much larger course in our print-on-demand hub. And if we take it a step further, this one course is just one course from our entire framework of courses, all of which you get in the print-on-demand hub, amongst other things such as a vibrant community, personal support from myself, many other benefits and perks to help you build a successful print-on-demand business. The print-on-demand hub really has it all, and it's the most vibrant and active print-on-demand community on the planet. And if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. The link is down below, and to quote a current member, she said it felt like a weight had been lifted from her shoulders after joining. That's awesome. We have so many good reviews to back up what we do in this community. So, like I said, I highly recommend joining if you are looking to further your print-on-demand game, take it up a level, and learn how to build a print-on-demand business following a proven framework. Let's do this.